everyone, welcome back to another Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes video with Fat Phil, and in this video, guys, we're going to be talking about the biggest relic problem inside of Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. So we're going to jump right into this video, guys, and as always, with everything we do here, we must first pay homage to our King Wampa, and we are going to say that we love you, you are our king, and even though you are not always in our team, you are always in our hearts. Alright guys, so we're trying to hit 1,500 subscribers by the end of November. That is our new goal. We blew our original goal of 1,300 out of the water. You guys are amazing. You are legends. You are scholars. Keep smashing that subscribe button, leaving likes, leaving comments, and if you really want to, you can join the Discord that is linked in my channel description. Alright guys, so relic pieces. I'm going to just briefly cover these four pieces right here, right? Carbonite circuit boards, bronzium wire rings, the chromium transistor, and oroidium heat sinks. I will link in the video description my relic farming guide if you guys haven't seen it. It's a great video, really informative. But these are all pieces that the scrap rate is going to be cut in half for every single one of them. So make sure that you're taking all of your current salvage. I made another video on this. I'll link that as well. But that you want to just scrap almost everything you have of those, so that way you don't have as much salvage left over for these, because it's going to be cut in half with the new gear change coming that Capital Games dropped in the road ahead. So we're going to jump straight to electrum conductors. So I don't have a problem with these. I actually think that they're very easy to get. You get a lot of gear in the Sith raid, but also you get these in assault battles, right? And if you're not taking characters beyond Relic 5, these start to add up over time. They really do. I'm not even exaggerating. This is the spoiler right here. These pieces I'm going to say are the biggest problem inside of Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. I will show you my argument, and we will continue, because we're going to move on to impulse detectors. I actually think these are okay. The scrap rate, while it's not ideal, right, I do think that there are some. I'm trying to think how much of it is like 1. So it's about, like, I want to say you need, like, what, 200 of these or something to get a full piece. There's 10, 16. So I've got, what, not even 2. So it's not quite 200 for a full piece, right? But, it's I'm not going to say that it's, like, good. But when you think about what the relic aids do for you, it's definitely worth that scrap rate. But the crystal price for these are also not that atrocious. And you can get them in Conquest, right? So if you're not going after the Conquest character, if you're mentally making that decision, it's okay to farm these in Conquest. The Gerda keypads, you can buy these for crystals. The scrap rate for these is, it's painful. Look, there's 200, look, 250, and we're still not quite there, right? That's rough. So you need over 260 of these to get for a Relic 9. What I will say is that I'm not overly upset about that. I do think that these need to be tougher to get because of how good Relic 8 to Relic 9 is on a lot of characters. So I'm actually okay with that. And these are still so new, right? These are the top echelon that they do need to be difficult to obtain, right? Again, so impulse detectors there. But the zinbiddle cards, the reason these are the most, this is the biggest problem for relics in the game right now is because there isn't a way to obtain these pieces, right? So I'm okay with the Relic 8s the way they are, right? That if you're going for a Jabba the Hutt, Lord Vader, Profundity, whatever the case is, right? I'm okay with the work you need to do. I'm okay with, the cost, because those rewards are worth it, right? I'm not okay with the way that zinbiddle cards are still blocked behind so much, right? So if I come in here to assault battles, I mentioned that you can get some relic materials from these, right? Oh, we don't have one open, do we? That is really unfortunate. So I hope you guys believe me when I say that assault battles, you can earn up to the chromium transistor pieces, but you cannot get zinbiddle cards, right? So when you go to any journey guide, right? And we'll go to my Lord Vader one right now. So this one I obviously need Relic 8s for, right? I need a lot of Relic 7s. The thing is with with Relic 7 and Relic 8, right? When you start needing those zinbiddle cards, they're not frequent enough, right? They don't drop enough that you're really getting a lot out of them, right? Here's an example. I'm going to go to my Grand Admiral Thrawn. So I need to take him from Relic 6 to Relic 7. There's the zinbiddle cards, right? I need 10 of them. Now, to go to Relic 8 on someone, let's see, let's keep going up. Oh, there's a Relic 7 Django. So if I was to take him to Relic 8, right, I need 20 of these pieces, right? So now, to take a character to Relic 8, I need 30 zinbiddle cards, right? 30 is an insane number, right? You know, forget the signal data, right, and these other pieces in here. Just these alone, because they don't drop in any of the events, right? You're solely either buying them with crystals or hoping that you're getting enough gear to scrap them. And, you know, as you progress later on in the game, right, this stuff does become a little bit more frequent that you can scrap it. But early on, I mean, that's a really, really expensive scrap, right? And I think the reason I think those parts are so, like, compared to some of these other things in the game, right? The reason I think that Relic 7 pieces are so, why I say that's the biggest problem is then we're going to go to a character who needs, you know, General Skywalker here, right? To go to Relic 9, I still need 20 more of them. So, you know, to get to these higher Relic levels, you need more and more of these pieces that aren't really obtainable for, like, your average player, right? And when I say obtainable, that when you're going for something like an impulse detector, I'm more than happy to say, yeah, you know what, you should be spending crazy crystals on that, right? You should be having to make huge sacrifices. But for something like this, a piece that is, you know, required for Relic 7 on, you know, every other Galactic Legend farm, right? But then also one that you're going to be using so often, you know, to go from Relic 6 to Relic 7, Relic 7 to Relic 8, Relic 8 to Relic 9. To go up to Relic 9, you need 50 of these pieces, right? 50 compared to 1 for a Relic 7. They're not a piece that you get that many of naturally, that I think that, you know, Capital Games has still kind of really held these pretty close to their chest, and I think that with the change to Relic 9 and with them moving towards these game modes that are requiring higher and higher Relic levels, I think it's time that these start becoming a little bit more accessible to players, right? That when you look at, like, I'm going to use my roster as the example, that outside of Galactic Legend requirements and my Galactic Legends themselves, the only character that I've put to Relic 7 is my Darth Malgus. Everybody else, Relic 5, where, you know, if they're not needed for Galactic Legend, Relic 5. Exceptions here, Beskar Mando is Relic 6. That was purely just me doing that, but he's Relic 6. I didn't take him to 7 because of zinbiddle cards, right? Same thing with my Cad Bane. I brought him up 1 Relic level from his GL requirement spot of 5, but not to 7 because of zinbiddle cards. So, you know, why am I, like, rambling about these zinbiddle cards, right? I'm not so much rambling that I think that they would be a problem if this game wasn't trending in this direction that Relic 7 isn't enough anymore. So, you know, all this to say, right, my advice to you, right, hopefully you guys are still watching this, right, so the advice for zinbiddle cards is, 1, don't give characters Relic 7 who don't need it, right? Like, that is a huge piece of advice, guys. Don't give characters Relic 7 who don't need it. And when you're giving characters, when you're thinking about giving Relic 8s, whatever, think about the total cost, right? That is it worth you to Relic 8 your Kenobi? The answer is no right now. Like, if that's your first Relic 8 after the Rex, we've got some questions to ask you. But, like, is it worth you to Relic 8 your Jedi Master Kenobi now? Or should you put those Relic 7s or Relic 8s towards obtaining another Galactic Legend? And that's the thought process that you need to have. Those are the questions you need to be asking yourself along the way, because those things don't just fall out of trees. They are expensive and they do cost a lot. But that's the end of the video, guys. Let me know what your thoughts are down below. I would love to hear from every single one of you. And then, guys, as always, Wampa is king in the comments. May the Force be with you, and I'll see you in the next video. Cheers.